Yeah, are you ready for some laughs? Yeah. Come on and join Psycho 4081. It's the Hot Topics Podcast. It's the Hot Topics Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Hot Topics Podcast, Psycho 4081, your host for today. And I have two guests here, Kelly and Alexa. Thank you for both coming here and sharing your wealth of information.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yes.
So typically, we do a podcast episode for specific reasons, and I was asked why am I doing this episode? And I was like, okay, well, I have a large social media presence, right? So I'm on everything. And I get into arguments with people and I debate people I don't know. I debate everybody, people I know and who I don't know. So this particular topic was on the LGBTQIA++ community, right? And
Right.
it was surprising. I guess it shouldn't be surprising, but so much, misinformation or just plain ignorance out there, So
Yes.
I decided to do this to give some people some insight, and this will be a series actually because there's so many to cover, right? So give them some insight, understanding, and really dispelling some myths. And I guess you guys will know some of the myths too, probably more than me. So hopefully we'll have some real life stories, and you guys give us an inside view of, So now, the inside view thing, you guys are full-fledged card-carrying members of the LGBTQ community. That's what my friends used to say.
I think back in the day I might have had a card.
She's upgraded. She has no card.
There's no card. She let it expire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I had to look up some things just to make sure I was correct on it. So, for people who don't know, LGBTQIA is an acronym for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer / questioning, intersex, and asexual / aromantic / ally. So, it sounds like it covers everything.
Everything and everybody.
Everything, yes. So, people will ask, well, what is each one of those? Obviously, everybody knows lesbian, everybody knows gay, everybody knows bisexual, everybody should know transgender. The queer thing was more or less like, hey, so what's the difference, right? We talked about that some time ago, right? So queer is an umbrella term. This is from University of California, San Francisco. They have a LGBTQ resource center. I thought that was interesting. Right.
Well,
So
it's a huge community.
yes,
there,
it
so.
is. Well, especially, San Francisco is known.
That's what I'm saying. It's a huge community there.
Yeah. So they said it was for an umbrella term for non-straight, non-cisgender identities, reclaiming a formerly derogatory term. So questioning refers to exploring one's sexual orientation or gender identity. So I guess that leaves it open for anyone who's exploring that or just learning themselves. So that's like an X. It could be anybody.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So we're going to start with Alexa, right?
Okay.
And we're going to, it's like almost like a round table because I want to know your perspectives on these things, right? So how do you personally identify? That's one. And what does that identity mean to you?
This is a really great question that I tend to debate with some of my friends, and I agree with you. There's a lot of different information out here, and I think that a lot of different people see things different ways. So to answer your question, I personally identify as a lesbian. Have always identified as that, but then as new understanding of different terms and things like that, I think some of my friends feel like I'm actually more queer than I am lesbian. And I'm like, okay, whatever you guys want to call it, I feel like I'm lesbian and I'm happy, and that's just what it is.
Okay.
Um, and what does identity mean to me? Um, to be honest, identity means to me essentially sometimes I feel like, and I don't know if this is a correct answer, but sometimes it's just an outer shell of the inner of who I really am, right?
Okay.
I feel like there's depth to it because I mean, yeah, I could say I'm a lesbian, but then it's like, but what about, the like the other things that I also identify as or things like that, or who I really am, like who do I show up to be? When you see me, you're just not like, oh, this is a lesbian. Like, no, you see me, you're like, this is a caring person. Oh, this is a person who thinks outside of the box, or this is a person who has So I yes, I identify as a lesbian, and I mean, to me, it's not the biggest thing in the world. Like, I don't catastrophize over like I'm a lesbian and I stand on it. That's just not who I am. And
So
I don't belittle or anything any other person who feels like that is like the biggest thing for them.
so
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume that you don't wear the hats, like the baseball caps with the thing up there that says lesbian.
No, actually, I prefer not to. Uh, really wear almost anything that has rainbow. I don't really care for it, really. I don't think I need to show that to, when I show up, I think they're gonna know. Oh no, she likes women. So it's
Okay. Okay.
like
So
yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah.
We're going to talk about the rainbow thing because I learned something big when I stepped into like some what do you call them things, a forum, that there's a flag
Okay.
for everything.
Yes.
I mean, there's literally a flag for everything. I was like,
Yeah.
but Kelly,
Yes.
how do you personally identify?
As human.
Okay.
And I don't wear, I think in my younger years, I was, when I discovered DC and I was out of the closet and I wanted to wear it, but the colors, I was down with the colors, but
Okay.
in DC, not here.
Because DC was more open.
Oh, DC blew my mind.
Okay.
And I was
Okay.
say 21, and I discovered this life, and so it is my life. It's not my lifestyle,
Okay.
and it's like the air I breathe.
Explain that real quick. You said
I
your
knew.
life and lifestyle.
Yeah, it's not lifestyle. When people say, "Oh,
Okay.
you're in this lifestyle," no, it is my life.
Okay.
And I knew when I was young, when I was small, when I was grinding on. Can I?
You can say whatever
Okay.
you want.
When I was grinding on girls, when I was playing doctor and nurse at a very young age, that this was it for me. But because of the climate at that time, and this is, late 70s, early 80s, and in high school, I couldn't come out. Oh, I could not come out. But I knew that this was it. I was praying it away.
Right.
Praying. Why do I have this crush on this girl? Or why do I want to be around, this girl? What are these feelings? And this, that, and the other. So I just identify as human. And I don't really like the label thing.
Okay.
I think that people, and it really depends through my years. I think I give a maybe is she in the is she, and I call it in the life. I don't call it like gay. I can say, yeah, I'm gay. And basically that's what I say. I'm in the life. That was a term that we used, and I still use. I'm in the life.
Okay, which means you're
Gay.
You're active. There's no hiding.
Right.
Okay.
I'm out because I'm in the life.
Right.
I'm
Okay.
gay. So yeah, but it took a long time to get to there, to that point.
Years, decades.
Oh no. Like once I got the freedom out of high school. Like in
Okay.
high school, I had the boyfriends on the side, and
Right.
who I would be with we're boyfriend, girlfriend. And then the minute they pressure for sex, we break up. I had to break up, but that stretched to senior year, so I could do that.
Okay.
And just to get out of high school, because I couldn't, I had to be straight in high school. Yeah, right.
socially
Nobody was really
restrictive.
out. Yeah, nobody was really out. And I saw what they did and what they wrote in books about a young lady who was like a year ahead of me, who was, they didn't know for sure, but they assumed that she was in life, and she was in the life. But they, I'm sure she has some stories, but just wrote in books about her,
Right.
wrote on the bathroom wall, just, and I knew that I couldn't do that, couldn't handle it.
Right.
So I had to play the role through to get out of high school, and then after I got out of high school, it was on.
Okay. The freedom.
The freedom, yeah, because Trump Plaza had just opened up, and I found a guy, a gay guy who was older, and he used to have destiny parties and different things, and he was fabulous, and he brought me to my first club in DC. He brought me to my first gay pride in New York City, the parade. Okay. So he opened up a world, and once I got DC, it was over for me.
Right.
It was those women were beautiful. And I was young, 21, 22, 23. Oof.
So
That's
you're, from what I'm getting, when you first realized you was part of that particular community, or that was your life, basically.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know.
Was you.
I was hoping. I was praying, trying to pray it away through young, grinding on girls when I was young. And you experiment, whatever.
Right.
And so then through high school, realizing, oh, why am I having these feelings? And faking it with boyfriends. Never penetration, but we could grind, but I'm not, you're not penetrating me.
Okay.
So then when I was out of school, I saw certain gay folks, but I couldn't, Lang City's very small.
Right.
And Lang City's very small. So I knew I had to go hours away
Right.
to explore this feeling. Because what is this? What is this? I'm praying it, trying to pray it away. But I knew I had an attraction. But I couldn't mess around with the few people that were here that I saw.
That you suspected.
Oh, but no, that I knew.
Oh, you knew. Okay,
I knew they
sure.
were in their life.
Okay.
Yeah. And I couldn't go to the one club, Studio 6, that was here. Couldn't go there because then people would know that I was in the life.
They had one in Lang City?
Studio 6.
I never knew that.
Oh yeah. Studio 6. That's where, and it was popping. It was the club, but I just was so afraid. I was in the closet.
Okay. And we have can I ask Shah? Is that Shah? All right, if she jumps in there.
Shay.
Hi, sorry.
Shay.
Yeah, it's Shay.
Shay.
Were you talking to me?
Yes. Did you want to comment on that? Like,
I'm sorry?
Did you want to jump in on that, or are you just listening?
I was just listening.
Okay, no problems, no problem. So, what was the moment like emotionally and mentally? Now, you articulated that very well about your whole emotional and mental shining, I guess I could say, right? Now, Alexis Nexus. What was it like for you?
Coming out, or for which part?
Yeah, just when you realized this is what you were, and embraced it.
Yeah, this is a great question. So I feel like first and foremost, I was on a basketball team. I was like 11 or 12, probably 12. Let's say 12. And I was on a basketball team, of course, obviously all girls. And, it was a big secret. Like, oh, guys, it was such a big secret. We were all on like 3-way or 5-way. That's how crazy it was. And somebody's on the call and they're like, I got a secret to tell you guys. And we're like, what? Just say it. Such and such likes this other person on the team. And we're like, oh, okay. And then somebody else gets on but I like this person on the team. So it really kind of been like almost the whole basketball team end up dating each other. Like we're all like 12-year-old girls. And the funny part was just weeks before I had met this, my middle school had a food fight in the cafeteria. So they split the girls up, they split the boys up. So we're all, in separate rooms. And I see this girl in the corner and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. But I had never had a girlfriend before this. I had boyfriends, I thought I liked guys. And long story short, because of the food fight, I found my first girlfriend. So on this call was like 2 weeks later. And I was like, guys, I got a secret to tell y'all too. I'm like, I basically have a girlfriend too. And I just didn't want to tell you guys because I didn't know what you think of me. So long story short, it was like 11, 12 years old. I was like, oh shoot, I've liked this girl, and it was even crazy to tell her because I'm like, I don't know if she's gonna be like, you're a weirdo.
Right. No, but you're
Um,
you're a lot
and so yeah,
younger.
yeah,
So, and I think
yes,
in
yeah.
your age range, it wasn't it much more acceptable then?
It was more acceptable. Actually, at this point, because I'm 32 now, in the early
Baby.
2000s, it was almost like a fad. So we're talking
Okay.
like 2005, 2006. It was like a fad to be gay. It was the thing. It was like, oh, you're gay? Oh, but I'm gay. Okay, we're cool. Like you're cool because you're gay. So at that point it was, and it's actually really funny too because I ended up dating my second girlfriend after the first one, after that food fight. She didn't last very long. But the second girlfriend was like the hottest girl in the school. So I was like basically the woman, I was like the man, right? And everybody's like, damn, like, and so it was even cooler to be gay because I've got the cutest girl in the whole school. Um,
Oh.
and it even got to a point where, that's when I started changing how I dressed and I started dressing more masculine. Is my mother let me always buy my own clothes anyway. She just give me the money, like go in the store, get what you need to get, and come on out because she didn't. And so then I just started dressing more masculine. So everybody definitely knew by then. They're like, yeah, we know, but we already knew because you're a tomboy. We already knew from all your mannerisms that you were. But I was like, no, I wasn't. I had boyfriends and all these other. I was convinced I wasn't until I actually was convinced that I was. So
Okay. You mentioned
yes,
you mentioned your mother let you buy whatever, right? So
yeah.
as parents, we know our kids and we observe certain things.
Mhm.
Who was the hardest person to come out to, and why?
Mm. I mean, for me, yeah, I think it was my mother was the hardest, and I didn't come out to her until I was almost 19.
Okay.
Everybody else said she was in denial, but yeah, it wasn't until 19. But the interesting part was my aunt, who was really close to my mother. I had also came out to her around the same time, and she had such a negative response to me that I basically didn't really want to deal with her,
So
didn't really want to deal with her anymore, but now we're cool at this point in life.
okay.
Yes.
So you think their reaction was more religious based?
Yes, yes. My mother told me, well, I always thought when the girls were spending the night that you guys were just friends, and she was like, "You're gonna have to answer to God, and that's on
Ooh.
you." And
Ooh.
my aunt told me they're gonna get of me ever again, and that I need to go and find a Bible. Matter of fact, there's one on the piano in the house, and
Oh
that's what
wow.
she told me.
Dang.
And I was like, "Oh, okay,
Wow.
yeah." Like I'm gonna look at my aunt because now that you know that I like women. Okay, this is kind of actually weird, but cool.
So
Yeah.
cause
So.
little rifts in the family.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, my mother I think continued to love me pretty fairly. I think my aunt distanced herself a little bit, but then kind of came back around to loving me a little more in the future. But yeah. And my father was very accepting from the beginning. I told him at like age 15, like, hey, here's what it is. Because he came in as like the manly father that's like, who's the boy you're dating? I want to
Right.
meet him. And I'm like, huh. Do not explain this, but that's not what's. But the funny part is, my father turned around and was the same way with women, and he still is till this day. Even though I'm 32, if I date a new woman, he's like, I want to meet her.
Oh really?
Tell me about her. We need to come to dinner. He's very old school, yeah,
Okay. So he's
and
totally
he's
accepting.
like, yeah,
That's what's up.
totally accepted. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yep.
Kelly.
My father passed when I was around 13.
Okay.
So I just had my mom, and my mom was a jokester, and because I had discovered DC, I would always talk about the clubs in DC, and I would say Sam. I would call my friend, my really close friend, Sam,
Okay.
and I had my other friends. So one day I broke up with Sam, and she knew I was devastated. And this is in the late '80s. I was devastated. So I said, Mom, I got to tell you something. So at this point, she didn't know. She didn't know.
She had no clue whatsoever.
No clue, because I had to be out of state.
Okay.
I had to be out of state to be me. And so I felt that I had to be out of state because I just couldn't take the looks, the whispers, at that point. So I said, Mom, she knew I was down, and I said, Mom, I got something to tell you. I said, you know Sam? And I said, it's Sabrina. And so she did the my mom's was a comedian. She did the Fred Sanford thing,
the heart attack
with the heart attack, and sat down. But then she was like, I was like, oh come on. She said, Kelly, I love you, and I just want you to be happy. This, that, and the other. I love you. Whatever makes you happy. And so she was totally with it. And a mother knows her child. To me, I was tight with my mom. My mom, best friend, everything was, it was just once my father died, it was myself, my mother, my brother, my older brother, and a close aunt, my mother's sister. And so she was with it. She, no problem, loved me to death, And the same with my brother. I came out to him and I was like, well, what if I was this? He was like, no problem, whatever. What is that? No problem. I said, what if I was gay? And he was like, basically it was the exact same thing my mom said. I love you. And, that is the same. So that helped when finally, but it still took years to be at home, be comfortable at home in my little town of AC. And that was because I dealt with a young lady here who was popular. And people were yelling, Kelly, you so-and-so with so-and-so. Yes.
She was popular, and it was
Lang
known.
City Small.
Everybody,
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, I would be in where we lived at in apartments. And, Kelly, what? I guess he was trying to be smart. And he's like, you with so-and-so? And I just, I wasn't strong enough. I was just like, yeah, with my head down. And, but eventually, once more of my family knew, and my aunt Virginia, who was a deaconess in Pleasantville, she called me one day and was like, Kelly, we're having a family reunion and so-and-so cookout, blah, 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 blah. And then she said, you can bring your friend. I knew then that she knew.
Because she said friend.
You can bring your friend and the kids. So my girlfriend had kids.
Okay.
So I knew she knew. So once she said that, this is the deaconess of the church, old school. So just more and more people knew in Atlantic City because my girlfriend was in love. She was telling everybody. She was happy. I wasn't telling anybody, but I was still, living with her and everything, and taking care of the kids and all. And so friends would say, oh, how so-and-so and the kids? So I knew they knew then.
Okay.
So.
And they expressed acceptance.
Yes. How so-and-so and the kids. They expressed acceptance. I don't know what they said or talked about. Oh, that's, I don't know what they said later or whatever. Right. But, and I didn't care after a while. I didn't care because, now I was like, oh, girl, you're not paying my bills. You're not doing anything for me.
Right.
So I don't care what you think or whatever. And we were happy at that time. I was happy with her, with my girlfriend, and I was happy with these kids, raising these kids.
Okay. So one of the things, this question is coming from the outside, what I hear from people. What are your thoughts when you hear somebody say a certain person turned gay? Or have you ever heard that?
Well, which one are you asking? You asking me, Shay, or Kelly?
Go ahead, Alexis.
Okay. A certain person turned gay.
Right.
What? My thought. I think I have many thoughts on that. It really just depends. I think the first thing that comes to mind is, bitch, you've been gay, right? you've been this way, okay? You and yourself were in denial, or didn't figure it out. Or I think that sometimes trauma does happen, and it's like Men and women
Mm-hmm.
alike. I think they get tired of the opposite sex doing the bullshit or whatever. So then they decide like, oh, okay, let me try to come on and play for the other team, and see how this works out for me. And those are normally my two go-tos when somebody say they turned gay. You've
So
been this way, or
let me ask you
some
something,
trauma has happened.
because now
Yes.
that brings up another question. Just based on what you said, do
Hmm.
you believe it's a choice?
So, the interesting part is I do believe that some people were born gay. I,
Okay.
I do believe that. And I do think for some people it was a choice. And I think that some other people don't even remember that it was a choice. And for example, for me, I've been in therapy, deep therapy for like 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, since the age of 25, I've been in deep therapy. And I actually had sexual trauma as a little girl. And the crazy part is one day after therapy, this is maybe like 4 years ago, I had a flashback of an image in my head of like almost the moment when I was way younger, when I no longer liked boys anymore, but I was, had sexual trauma. So my brain switched and I hadn't known. I mean, I'm at this point, I'm like, what, 28, 29 years old, and I'm having a flashback of remembering like, oh, my brain actually did switch at one point, and because I do remember at like one point I was like, oh, I like boys, and then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden it was like, no, you like girls now, and there was a switch. And so for a long time I kind of thought like, no, 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 I was born this way. But for me, there was a switch, and I didn't remember until I went into deep, 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 deep therapy. And
Okay.
it was okay. But at this point of life for me, and that may not happen for everybody, and people like, I didn't even remember that happened. So all my life, I'm like, no, I was born this. But then I remember, had that memory, and I was like, whoa, it switched. So it was a choice, kind of, sort of, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
And I'm okay with who I am and who
so
I became,
could it
Yep.
have been that you were, let's say, bi, and the choice was really which side you were going to say participate in or accept? Could that?
I think that's I think that that's always a choice, yes, for people to be bi, because just like Kelly said, we're human.
Mm,
We're human. And so you like what you like.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about the turning gay thing? So I'm gonna tell you from a male point of view. Me growing up, when I heard talks about that, I heard people say, "Oh, she got the such and such, or he got the such and such, and they turned gay." I'm like, nah, they didn't turn gay. They,
Right. Yeah.
accepted who they are.
I think that might be an archaic slogan that males primarily say.
Mostly males, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I've heard of. Well, I guess it's in line with the she got turned out.
Okay. Okay.
She went to D.C. and got turned out.
Right.
Or went to New York, got turned out, but turned out in the gay way.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they still say that.
Yeah, she got turned out. I don't hear it as
Yes,
often
yeah,
though.
definitely
Right.
still saying it.
Yeah, but I don't hear it as often.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, but they're still saying. But yeah, I don't know. For me, hey, I wanted to be. I was looking for my tribe,
Okay.
so I had to escape out of town.
Okay. So once you knew,
I knew very young.
okay, and you said, well, you ever thought about like this is how I was born. I'm not making a selection. I'm not making a choice.
Yeah,
It was chosen for me.
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was just there, and I knew at a very young age.
What
And
age
it was,
about? Let's
and,
say
Oh, I was grinding on girls very young.
like 8.
Yeah,
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 okay.
yeah. And it's so funny. I see these girls that I used to grind on, and they're straight, they're married. As far as I know, no, no messing around. But it's so funny, Like I'm like, wow, and they remember.
Mm-hmm.
They remember.
So what? One of the
Hey,
things.
Brian.
Yes.
Faye wants to add to that question.
Oh, by all means.
Hey Ryan, it's Shay again.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. So, the question about like how do you feel about when they say that you turned gay? As I guess I should mention that I am a formal minister, so I have a lot of history within like faith and religion, and it's just a neurotypical response from people who in honesty are trying to suppress their own feelings. So it's easier for them to say something must be wrong with you, that this is not the normal thing. You turned this way, than to openly admit that you really are this way, because then that means they have to admit that they have these same hidden desires that they suppress. You know what I mean? Um,
So wait a
and a
minute.
lot of it,
Let's make that one clear. I want you to reiterate that one.
yeah, most of the time it is because um, the person I'm going to use the word accusing on purpose.
Okay.
The person accusing someone of turning gay is usually a person that is suppressing their own desires for same gender loving relationships. And they feel bad about it. They feel guilty about it. They feel whatever way that is not good to them, usually because of conditioning. And the way that they deal with that is by saying that this other person must have turned this way because you can't naturally be that way because something is wrong with that way.
Okay, that's an interesting viewpoint. So let me interject something here. This is from my personal experience. Now I'm straight, heterosexual, 100%, right? So I had a friend that I've known for quite a long time.
Male.
Male. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, a male. And once they went off to now. When I say my opinion that this person was heterosexual is because I remember the things that we did as boys. When we went out to go get the girls, we went here. All the conversations, the discussions. There was no hint of him liking men. Right. So he goes off to college and he starts saying, we was have conversations. I think I was in the Navy at the time. He was in college, and we would talk, whatever. And I'm thinking, man, he would say, well, yeah, my college professor says this, and this. And I'm like, and I remember distinctly me saying to him on the phone, you sound gay. I said it to him. And nothing more about it. He was like more like the academic. He was trying to tell me the academic part of it. So years later, fast forward, he came out, and I said I didn't believe him.
He told you.
He told me.
Okay.
Right. I wouldn't believe him. I said impossible, because I know the things that you and I talked about. We went through. I've seen those certain things.
Right.
But he explained it to me, in a way. He says, he liked both.
Oh.
But he decided. This is what he said, his own words. That he prefers men more. Right. And that's the lifestyle he chose because he preferred men more. Now, me being the young, ignorant, person that I was at the time, my perspective was, oh, he turned gay. I didn't tell him that or anything like that, but that was my head.
Right.
That was within my head. But I can say I wasn't hiding any feelings or anything like that. It's just that for me, coming to the realization that somebody that I thought I knew, like my other half, like this is my brother.
Yeah. Like I know everything about you.
Yes. And it was like kind of like, oh, how did that, fly under the radar? So that was a moment for me, because I'm a habitual line stepper. I just ask questions. So I talked to him about it, and we came to the, realization, okay, I'm gonna accept that because, you still my friend, whatever. And, but the way he explained it to me kind of put a lot of things in perspective, which changed my whole opinion on the whole, the I guess the homosexuality thing. So, but going to what you said, there was nothing in me that said, I'm repressing thoughts or feelings or whatever. It's just that, I came to a realization by force that, people do have these lifestyles or do make these purposeful changes. and that's what made him happy.
Yeah.
So
But you said something really important.
mm-hmm.
You said that this was your internal perspective. You never said it to him.
Oh no, I would never say that. No, I
But
would.
that's the difference.
Yeah.
That is you analyzing a situation and trying to reconcile this person that I knew. How did this get by me?
Okay.
He must not have always been this way. Something must have changed.
Right.
That's not the same as a person who blatantly and boldly tells someone else, you are not this way, you turned this way.
Ah, I gotcha. I would see the difference. Now, I might have told him when when that conversation had.
You definitely were saying that.
Yeah, I was definitely saying
No way, man.
You're lying.
Get out of here. Stop
You know,
playing.
I'm telling you, you're lying. Why are you saying this? Why are you whatever? So that was me, and in a personal conversation, basically telling him that he's not what he says he is. So,
You gonna tell him,
right? Because I got the proof. I got receipts.
right? I got memories.
Yes. But like I said, it was a learning process for me. I mean, it was a long learning process for me because it took a while for me to actually, have that conversation with him and then, have him explain, well, I'm the same guy, we still like sports. We still, I'm still at baller, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, well, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. So I'm not going to have a different perspective of you just because of that,
Right.
So,
And you shouldn't.
yeah. And but it took that for me to learn that.
Right.
And the other part of that is, what was your conditioning that caused a almost allergic reaction to him being gay? Like in your mind at the time, why couldn't he have been? What was wrong with him saying that?
Well, in my mind, what was wrong with it first? How I since the day I'd known him, as I think we go back to maybe 7th grade, I guess. Our interactions, our discussions, our arguments, a lot of times were over women or, us going out to, hey, let's go up to the boardwalk and we could get some tourists.
We're gonna pull these women.
Right, exactly. So, we shared deep personal thoughts on, how you felt about women, always women.
Right.
Matter of fact,
Girlfriends.
Yeah, I never. There's certain women in there. I remember in high school, I never even approached because I knew he liked them. Mm-hmm. So, and I regret to this day.
Damn.
I was like,
Right.
I should have known
Damn, you
back
missed
then.
them.
But yeah, but that's how it was, And I'm saying this is the '80s, so it was nothing at the time. It was nothing good in a as that toxic. Masculinity thing was nothing good about being gay. Even the people that you thought was good that was gay, like, all right, I like Elton John.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like Elton John,
Right.
it's okay. It's Elton John, or Boy George at the time. That was the '80s, right? Okay,
Come on.
exactly. You can't say nothing bad about him. I don't care, But when it comes to a personal level, it's almost like your world is turned upside down. And you're thrown into a situation that you're not familiar with, so, but, we live and we learn.
Yep.
And when you were asking him, did he ever say any pressure not to pursue that, or let me just, you know what I'm saying? Or wait till I get to college, then I can be more free, or?
No, you know what? Well, he told me when he was in college, and my reaction, I didn't say, hey, I might have been thinking of it because I asked him that question. I said, well, if you like both men and women, mm-hmm. why don't you just stay with women? Because in my head, back in the '80s, who would want to go through all the trauma? Because to be honest, it was to me, this is what made me think that nobody chose to be gay, mm-hmm. right? In my head, I said, who would choose to go through all the hell that people put them through? Even in the military, it's there's no way this person is choosing to be gay, because who would want to go through that? Who would want to be chastised or looked at differently or treated differently?
Right.
So my thought for him was if that's the case, if you like both, why don't you choose this so you can avoid that? Mm-hmm. He wasn't gonna get all the chastising and all that stuff from me, but just in, growing up in life in
Society,
general.
yeah.
Society, right. Society is not, back then,
Right.
wasn't very receptive to that lifestyle.
Right.
So I just didn't understand why somebody would pick something that would be more traumatic to them versus something that could be like you can go on cruise control. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
but yeah, that was an interesting thing.
So now he is like gay.
He passed away. But yeah, his from that point on, that was his
Okay.
lifestyle.
He was-
that was he was
gay.
He was gay. Now, my opinion was, I said, okay, so he's bisexual, but he's choosing to
Okay.
live that lifestyle, because I know he likes women. There's nothing he could say, because you can't fake certain things, but that's what his choice was, to live that lifestyle, and I accepted that. But we grew apart. I went away, he was away, whatever. But he was comfortable with it,
Right.
and hey,
That's your life.
that's your life, yeah.
Gotcha.
But I do think, like, deep inside that that certain things would never be the same, because certain things that, like, some of my conversations, I can't say. For example, like with guys, we talk about everything, and we talk about some ignorant shit. So
Yeah.
now it's like I can't say certain things, or I can't.
You can't, or he couldn't.
I can't.
Right. But you wouldn't be comfortable with his conversation.
Yes. Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yes, I would not be
Right.
comfortable with his. Yes. So
Right.
he told me about this, off the subject, but he told me about certain entertainers that was in
The life.
the life that was undercover, or DL, right?
Down low.
Who
And
did he say?
huh? Who did
I'm
he
curious.
say?
Who did he say?
Yeah,
Who did
spill
he
the
mention?
beans.
So
We
back
need to
then-
know. No.
Back then, I'll put a name, because I think it's rumored now, but back then he was telling me about Christopher Williams.
Oh.
He was one of them.
Don't wake me.
Yes, and it was right around that time with the
Pretty
that-
mother.
Yes.
Never liked you
So,
anyway.
but he was telling me that they have a whole community, and they even had certain terms they used within the community, and he was explaining all that to me, and I'm like, I'm like a student. I'm like, oh, okay, I never heard that. Whatever.
Right.
But yeah, but those are things that kind of, like you said, it would have made me uncomfortable, because at the time I was thinking, no, he's not. That's New Jack City, So, you just want everybody, and I forgot the other people that he said, but I was
Right.
like, you just want everybody to be in your community because it makes you feel better. That's my thinking at the time,
Yes.
So
Yes.
now fast forward to present day, it's like,
The baby oil.
That nigga was saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was crazy. But so, all right, when somebody mentioned, I think Kelly, you mentioned family, or so. I've heard the term chosen family. What does that mean to you? Have you ever heard that?
Now, chosen family. I'm not familiar with
Like
that.
chosen family, like I guess when you went to DC or New York, you was around your people.
Oh, yeah.
Right, who are very understanding and.
Well, they're in the life. They're
Okay, yeah.
in life. So, for me, real quick, I once I discovered DC, it was every weekend. I mean, I was 95. I had 12 points on my driver's license. Didn't know when the cop stopped me. I was like, here's my just give me my driver's license back so I can go. Didn't even know didn't even know what surcharge meant. All I know is that I had to get to this club.
Right.
I had to get to the club.
What is it? Is it a popular club now?
No, it's not even there now.
It's
It was
not there,
by
okay.
the Navy Yard. It changed names a couple times, but it's no longer there.
Okay.
And but it was awesome to me. It was I just opened my eyes. I was like, oh, my chin hit the floor when I went. I said, all these beautiful women. I'm like, because my pool here was so limited, and a lot of the women were aggressive. I wanted a feminine woman.
Okay.
So, but when I went to the DC clubs, they were feminine. I was like,
Really?
whoa, they were feminine. Yeah, you had of course, your aggressive women,
Right.
studs or whatever, but the women were lipstick down.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, this is the life for me. So, I was very happy. So, I was there every weekend.
So I have a question though.
Rain,
Alexa
snow,
said
sleet, or hill. Rain, snow,
she
sleet, or hill.
said
Yeah.
she said she started dressing more like aggressive or masculine, right? Did that ever happen to you, or did you ever?
No,
Because you don't today. I'm looking
Right.
at you. You don't look
Yeah.
like I would say if I never met you and say, okay, oh, she's lesbian.
she's in the life.
Right,
Yeah. She's gay. And that's the way I always, for me,
Mm-hmm.
I've always kind of walked that line. Like people, maybe is she? I don't know. Da, da, da. And because of the women I was with, they still didn't know. Oh, those two just two friends.
Right.
But they were always more feminine.
Okay.
And so sometimes I wear basically men's clothes, but I always hook it up into
Right.
So it's cool. It's,
So you.
but I
you're
don't
on that-
wear dresses.
that
I don't
line.
wear heels.
Okay. All right. So not that not that
Oh, yeah.
extreme.
No. Well,
Okay.
yeah, I can't, and I definitely can't wear the heels and stuff now.
Okay.
At one, if I had a special occasion to go to, maybe once in every blue, like I might have worn something, but it was sharp, whatever it was, that was more feminine. But no, I'm more. I guess you could say tomboyish, but it's always like.
So would that term
it's
be
always like.
androgynous, maybe? Or is that the wrong term?
Nah, I think that's the wrong term.
Wrong term. Okay.
Androgynous. Yeah. No. Yeah.
And Alexa, you said you turned your style into more of a masculine thing. Was that intentional to let people know this is my lifestyle?
I think in the beginning, it was definitely more intentional to let people know I was in the lifestyle.
Okay.
And especially back then, because that was just when white tees, like wearing white tees, was the thing to wear.
Right.
Wearing baggier clothes back then was like coming back. I feel like coming back in, because at some point it was cool and then it wasn't. So it was coming back around. So it's like if you wore this, then clearly they knew you were trying to dress like a boy because you liked women. But the interesting part about it now, later on in life, like maybe this early 30s for me, I've been actually embracing more feminine clothing. And so now I dress almost more androgynous.
Okay.
Even like my haircuts, it's very half and half. It's more half and half, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with showing some assets,
Okay.
and I'm also okay with still having more masculine presenting side as well. I like a more versatile androgynous look to me at this point in life. Yeah.
Okay. It gives you more freedom, I would assume.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
and I would say for me as well too, it is different because chosen family has now I'm actually poly, and so we have a whole polycule family that we travel together, and other things like that. And I have gay friends that I visit, so and even actually just was talking to my girlfriend today about these two gay guys that we met at a bar in Philly. And when we go back out to Philly next month, like, hey, can we hit them up just to have a drink and catch up and see how they're doing? And it's like I keep up with I tend to keep up with him, one of the gay guys in the couple, often. Like we talk almost every month, just seeing how each other are. So yeah, it's like almost like you just start kind of choosing the family that you're comfortable around, want to spend time with, want to travel, and all these other things. And it's been a really, really amazing journey, and to be poly, and also just to have my own gay family. Even actually every year, me and my best friend, well, I wouldn't say best friend, but good friend Paige, um, we travel and go to a different gay pride every year.
Oh,
One
that's
year's
nice.
Atlanta, one
That's
year's
nice.
Miami, one year's New Orleans. This year is supposed to be um, Las Vegas, if we can make it through TSA.
Ooh.
So we just choose,
Right.
and we do this
Right.
every year, and it's we have so much fun because we go get to see the gay prides somewhere different every year and see how the people are, see what the culture is like in those cities, see how we decide to choose to be or to not be. So yeah, it's really been amazing.
That's
And
awesome.
my family, my actual blood family, my biological family, does not like travel nowhere. They
oh really?
stay at home. I don't know why. I don't even ask no questions. So yeah, I get to really have an amazing love in, with my chosen family.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned poly because I'm going to have another episode later on down the line. We had one before on
Okay.
poly relationships. So,
Wonderful.
we're going
Yeah,
to talk
please
about,
bring me
because
in.
you have a different type of setup, from, what I gather, than the typical TV, I'm gonna say TV poly, where everybody look at it and they
Yeah.
have that thing. But speaking about relationships, how has dating been? Now Kelly, you've always dated women. Outside of the high school,
Yes.
So
Oh yeah.
so that's I can't ask you how has it been different. But Alexa, you said you've had boyfriends or no?
I've had boyfriends. Yes.
Okay, so how has dating been different for you when it comes to that, males and females?
Okay. So, I mean, really, I've had boyfriends at a very early age, so it's almost like you really can't count that because it's like high school, right?
Okay.
But it is very interesting because um I feel like yeah, it's really interesting. So I definitely wouldn't say I have a boyfriend right now. I
Mm-hmm.
don't at all. But I do have a guy friend who enjoys my conversation. I don't have to sleep with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I actually get paid for great conversation and just great like sharing company.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I don't mean like I'm prostituting myself, no, but like if I
I'm glad you cleared
if
that
we
up.
go to dinner, yeah. If we go to dinner, I mean, because the prostitution would include some sex and stuff, but if we go to dinner or something, I can order whatever I want and just enjoy company, and like he can just enjoy company, and so can I for the most part. And so that's a thing that happens, but I feel like when we speak on this, I think like some people are like, how is that even possible? Because you tend to dress a little more masculine. I think that like we talked about in the beginning, identity is not everything. Like I don't even if it's like, oh, you're a lesbian and you're dressing masculine, humans who can really see past clothing,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're feminine or you're masculine presenting, can understand like, oh, like there is more to you because yes, we're humans. And so I feel like I've had him as a friend for quite a while, like a couple years or so, and I'm open with my girlfriends. I tell them like, hey, there's this guy. We have conversations. We're not having sex, whatever the case, and they're fine with it. They're like, shit, whatever, shit, free dinner, free whatever,
All
shit,
right.
go for
So
it.
now I'm
And
gonna
so
ask you the
it
tough
works out fine.
questions. And I ask you the tough questions now, right? Since we're talking
What?
about the dating and this Kelly, you as well. Do you both have? Obviously, she has. Do you have a male friend? Just a platonic male friend?
Not that I go out with, but I
Nobody
do
in
have.
your circle.
Oh no, nobody in my circle, but I do have like people who I could call for certain things, but I wouldn't call, hey, let's go out and have lunch.
A close coworker.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or ex-coworker.
Or ex-coworker. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now this came up before, and I think you and I talked about that briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that your guy friend, whether it be your ex-coworker, your friend, your BFF, if given the opportunity, and these are the questions that we always have, I'm gonna ask some questions that's gonna make some people feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that your male best friend or your BFF or whatever it is will take the opportunity to have a closer relationship, an intimate relationship with you if given the opportunity, knowing that you're lesbian?
Out of the three, I'm going to say three friends. One would.
One definitely would.
Yeah. The other two are such great gentlemen. They wouldn't. Yeah.
So
that other one.
but they would only do it because they're gentlemen.
Yeah, I think, and yeah,
It was-
they,
all right,
they
so-
wouldn't.
so the other two, you
But
was to say-
one's married and happily, happily married, as far as I know, and no, nothing. I've worked with him for years.
Okay.
Never.
So if you was to say,
Not me. Not me.
if you was to say to this guy, you know what, I have a change of heart. Or I feel such. I want to do.
Yes.
What do you think the likelihood of him saying, you know what, I'm all in?
Oh yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yep. The one. The other two.
The other two.
They'll be like, get out of here. Oh yeah. He's a treat.
I have something I want to add to this.
Please do.
So I have actually found over the past like 8 years that there is a whole other section and category of men who really like enjoy lesbians, right? And
Uh-huh.
I didn't figure this out until my best friend dates this beautiful woman who has also beautiful best friends that they're the type best friends that we go to a pool party, they got the thongs on, they have beautiful bodies, it's that type, right?
Hmm.
So I learned this and I peeped this. I was at a pool party. They were like, we're going to get some free drinks, and some guys, so they're in the pool and they're just like all over these Spanish guys drinking Coronas, whatever the fuck. White guy comes over to me, it's old fucker too. He's like, you want to hear a rap? And I'm like, hell yeah. He's like, so I just, entertain him. And he's like, he gives me some corny ass white guy rap. I was like, man, that shit was dope. He was like, for real? I was like, yeah, it was cool. Like, yeah, we all here, we having a good time with the DJs pumping, there's beautiful women around. Like, it was great. He was like, I like you. You want some of this Hennessy? White Hennessy too. We're in Florida. And I was like, hell yeah. But I was like, here's the thing though. I'm here with all my friends. We're all gonna have to take shots. He's like, you know who I am? He's like, I own that whatever boat club or whatever the fuck. And I was like, oh, that's you. I had no idea who this guy was. But
You played the role.
and he's like, yeah, so come on over. Your friends can come over. Let's all take shots of white Hennessy. So I call him over and my friends are like, how the fuck did you just pull this guy to get us white Hennessy shots? And we're drinking fucking Coronas with our legs wrapped around these Mexicans. And I was like, you guys got to be cool and just chill out. So that incident sparked my mind that I was like, there is men out here who, and I don't know if he really wants to fuck me or not. I don't know, right? But it just sparked my mind. So I said to myself, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna feed into this. And so sometimes I would go out, and of course, men notice when there's lesbians around. They
Right.
notice, like, they are like lions on the prowl. Like, I somehow, they just notice. So, and I'll start a conversation, or they'll start a conversation, and I'll turn it into, oh, well, I'm here with my girlfriend. Like, if you buying me a drink, you got to buy her one or whatever. And I just
Right.
feed into it and just keep it going, right? And so even one day, there was a guy who matter of fact, I had a girlfriend, an ex-girlfriend at this point, and I told her, I said, here's the thing. Even though I dress masculine, there are men when we go out who are going to talk to me, right? And they won't talk to you for whatever reason they won't. And I said, and when I feed into it, play with me, just like, let's just role play this. Don't interrupt me and be like, oh, that's my girlfriend. Just let's get some free drinks or food or whatever the fuck we're gonna have and have a great conversation. Just roll with it, because here's the thing, they probably do want to fuck, and but that's not what they're gonna get unless have a great time, and so it's really, to me, it's not no foul play, because I do have great conversations with
Right,
people.
right.
I feel like as a woman, it's my job to use what I got to get what I want.
Cue the song.
Preach it.
So I go out with this ex-girlfriend, and we're sitting at we're at the Golden Dragon off of Liberty Road, and there's a guy, and my ex-girlfriend was eating an egg roll, and I peep over and he's watching, and I was like, baby, and I wink at her and she knows. She's like, oh, it's go time. I was like, oh, do that thing I like, she's like, oh, like this, and he was like, man. And from that moment, I knew. I said, "Oh, this is a sucker. This is a sucker." I knew it, and I was like, yeah, "She's beautiful, isn't she?" And we just start talking. He's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He was like, "Man, you're cool. I should buy you a drink." I was like, "If you buy me one, of course that'd be. You're not you're a gentleman, right? So I'm roping him in. You're a gentleman." He's like, "I am a gentleman." I said, "We got to buy both of us a drink. We're both women." He's like, "You're right." Both us got drinks. Had a great conversation, and we're on our way. And she was like, "Damn. That never happens to me." And I'm like, you gotta just be cool, like,
So,
so I think that there is a fetish in a line that there are men who really, really do like masculine presented women, and they are willing to shoot
agree.
their fucking shot.
I agree.
I don't think.
And I had a homeboy tell me that. He was like, shit, if I could shoot my shot with you, I would. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not, so yeah.
So let me
But
tell you
there
this.
is just a whole
As a
Yeah.
representative of the male delegation, it don't matter if you're masculine or if you're lesbian, bisexual, whatever. If a guy, sees you as attractive, like, and sometimes it's funny because you have women that try their best to look masculine.
Right.
It ain't working.
Right.
It's not working. A guy's going to try it. We don't care. We don't have those hangups because, even if we know that the success is going to be, like a low percentage, there's always that little bit of
that
percentage,
chance. She might be having a bad day.
Bingo.
Yeah. If you're having a bad day. Or
Can a
something.
bisexual queer person enter the chat on this conversation?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
So here's the thing. First of all, for the women, it's more difficult for a feminine presenting woman, unless you are at a lesbian bar. It's more difficult for us to pick up women because people assume that I am straight.
Oh, okay. I can see
Until I
that.
start talking.
Okay.
Until I start talking, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, and this motherfucker not straight, right?" It's like, no, she gay. I am. And so it's it's really frustrating because dudes shoot their shot so often, like you just said, you could be so out of their league in their eyes and they don't give a damn. They're just like, yo, I'm gonna shoot this shot.
Yep.
And guess what? And then you're like, oh well, but actually, like, I'm with women. And they're like, okay, so both of y'all, like, no.
Right.
Just because I like all genders don't mean I like you. Like, can we start there? But
Okay.
there's a standard still. And people assume that because I'm poly, because I'm queer, because I like all the genders, that means that any person that comes across my path is up and free game. No.
Right.
Because if you ugly and don't have your finances together and aren't intellectual and can't have a conversation, you don't have a shot.
Oh,
Like,
so
it's-
I'm gonna need you to come back for another episode specifically on that,
which that?
because you said you was bisexual and you. Well, I guess how you explained that you were not gender fluid. What's the term?
Queer.
Queer.
I'm queer.
Queer. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
But poly also, right? Did you say
Yes,
poly?
and also poly.
Okay. Oh, okay. You got to come back. Because it's a good one. But I know we just went over an hour, but I have this one question. I don't know if you can answer it, but this is a question that I'm pretty sure you've heard before. And guys are always we always talk about this thing here. Like, if you have a lesbian couple, once from my experience, when I used to work in a shoe store, clothing store, whatever, the lesbian couples came in there. The dom seemed like they would go way too overboard to be the man, right? But they always treated them better. I mean, they treated them the best. Like,
Who treated? Wait a minute.
the doms treat their women
Oh,
better
okay.
than a guy would treat his woman. It's like they really had to show, I'm the man or whatever. So the question that people would have, they would say, all right, you're feminine, but your girlfriend is masculine, almost like you couldn't even tell if it was a woman or not.
Right.
Here's the question.
Oh, she's butch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why choose a woman who's
Looks like a man.
looks like a man when you could just have a man? Now, mind you, I said I was a habitual line stepper, right? So I've already asked this question, but I want to know from you guys what have you heard or experienced when it came to that?
Well, I'm curious too, Kelly. Do you date only lipstick like women or
Feminine,
do you date
yes.
masculine women?
Yeah, they don't have to be.
feminine.
Yeah, the feminine. So I was gonna pass the mic on that one because,
Okay.
but I what is interesting though is so many times though in that dynamic, looking at that, the dominant, she got her fade,
Yeah.
behind closed doors.
Oh my
God!
gosh.
Behind
Go
the
ahead
closed
and say
door,
it.
that woman,
Say it.
that femme, is flip flop strapping it on. She is the aggressive one, but they
Okay.
don't see that,
Correct.
and
Okay.
not in all,
Yeah.
but in a lot, in a
Yeah.
lot. Now, when I just briefly, one of my my second relationship here, quiet in the closet relationship here, it was so funny. I messed with a girl who was well known in Atlantic City, and we had to be secret because she was aggressive. Now, usually I don't know if it was just nobody. This girl was known in Atlantic City, and she was highly aggressive and just dude. If you back then,
Okay.
back, and so
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it was so bad for me being in the closet. I couldn't walk down the street, but I said, no, you got to walk across the street. Because
Damn.
back in my 21, 20, actually earlier than that, I could not be associated.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I just I could not be associated with you. I couldn't have the spotlight put on me.
Right.
So I was like, no, you gotta walk across the street, and we go wherever we gotta go. And so, I know though that, I'm telling you, in so many relationships, that this aggressive person, this dominant, butch, whatever name, a lot of times she is on her back receiving.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
never have thought that.
I mean, have you guys,
I do want to jump in, and I also want to hear what Shay says, but I do want to jump in real quick on that. So I am I am definitely, this is another reason why people say that I should identify as queer, but I'm like, whatever, I really don't care. I'm what they call a verse. So I can do masculine women or I can do feminine women. I'm fine
okay.
with either or. I have dated both, and I have slept with both. So I feel like, I agree, but the interesting part about the question that he's saying is, he's saying like the really, really, really butch ones, that they basically are really almost men, and I identify them as butch women, because they really most of the time don't even really want to be known as a female. Sometimes they might even have like
Right.
he, him pronouns, whatever the case, right?
Right.
And that's their
Right, right.
prerogative.
yeah.
I personally don't date women who don't identify as women, or have he, him pronouns and so on and so forth. It's really, I'm really kind of weird because I can date some other people who have different things, but neither here nor there. I have dated masculine women who, if you looked at them, yeah, you'd be like, oh, damn, like she's really aggressive. And they are definitely, yes, they're the ones a lot of times receiving and really ready to like a whole feminine woman when it comes to the bedroom, or even not even just the bedroom though, right? In the house, they want to be pampered, or they want to be cuddled, and
My
it's
cramps.
just
My
like a
cramps.
sometimes like a hard exterior outside, right? You know, but whole time they're soft as shit. You know,
Yep.
Okay.
they're really soft. They're
Yep.
so
Okay.
soft. Matter of fact, the one that I'm particularly talking about, she plays the hardest role. The hardest role. And this is actually, I think it was just 2 years ago or last year. No, I think it was 2 years ago. We were at a gay pride event in Baltimore, and I saw her for the first time in like 4 or 5 years. And we're talking, and she grabs me by the throat.
Oh.
You know, and so the bartender's like, "Oh my gosh, they're about to start fighting." And I just look at the bartender, I'm like, "No, she wants me to submit." So here we are having this masculine battle because
Wow.
I grabbed her back, because she knows really she's gonna submit to me, you know, but she's playing this hard exterior because we have all these people and eyes on them. So, you know,
Right.
I let her throat go, and she can hold on to mine, because that's what she wants. She wants that. She wants that energy. She wants to be seen as
Right.
like, oh, I'm actually the
She's
one
Right.
who's like more dominant, but she's not
Right.
in the bedroom or whatever, even in the kitchen, you know, it's like,
Damn.
you know, she's gonna submit. She's gonna be cooking for me. She's gonna be putting on the movie, you know, all of the things. And it's like, it's cool, you know.
Now this
So
is an
that's
ex. That was an ex of yours.
we did date when I
Oh,
was
okay.
a teenager, but
Oh, okay. Okay.
after the teenage years into adulthood, we just kind of messed around.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I was cheating a lot, but that ended.
Gotcha.
I have grown, people. I want to put that there. I have really grown.
Gotcha.
I've really grown.
So
I'm curious to hear what Shay says though on this topic. Shay?
Yeah. So the original question was dudes that ask, if you could be with both, why do you pick women who
Yes.
look like men? And the easiest answer, we'll start there. The easiest answer is penis does not a man make.
Okay.
So just because you have the body part does not mean you actually standing on business like a man. And if we are
Okay.
honest, there are some women that do dominate better and more respectfully than the dudes with the toxic masculinity.
Okay.
So
Okay.
fight me if you want to, whatever. um, but the
Preach.
other side of that is also energy. Like some dudes be with the shit and be nasty and be doing all this stuff that's like, yo, can you be more than just a penis? Can you like have a brain? Can you be chivalrous? Can you be more than just this body part? Because if
Right.
we're like, I can go get a plastic one and it's going to do the same thrusting that you do.
Yep.
If you want more
Lord.
from me, then give me more. Right?
Right.
You asked the question that I am just fun. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Right.
part of it. But also like I don't fit a box, right? I'm very both and kind of person. I'm switched like a motherfucker. My spouse just said she switched like a motherfucker, right? So I am dominant and feminine. I am whatever I want to be in that moment. And the right person is going to take whatever I'm giving them in that moment, whether that's submission or whether that's get over there. And so that like I can do all of the things.
Yes.
And typically women are more receptive to that than men.
Okay.
Unless this is a guy that knows he has a kink, because I've also done that where the kinks come out and it is like, whoa, right? But for the regular schmegular guy is not open to all of the spectrum that I am.
Okay. And I could understand that as a heterosexual male. There's certain things that I would have to put the brakes on when it comes to that. Just just for my comfort and So yeah, I definitely understand that.
Gotcha.
So I know this is a good topic, and I want to go on, but we went a little bit too long. So can I get you guys to come back again? Because I would love to do part 2 of this, because it's very interesting. And the bees. So Shay is the bee. I want to jump into that a little bit more, and also with Alexa. I want to jump in that whole dynamic you have with the poly dynamic and how that works. With
I want to hear about that.
We're going to assume that is all females.
Yes, it is all females.
Okay.
It's all females.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
the polydynamic is all females.
We definitely.
And I do want to just for this record, I want to state it is not a throuple.
Not a throuple.
Nobody is throupling. Nobody is sleeping with multiple. All 4 of us are not sleeping with one another.
Thank you.
So is a woman couple.
It is a married couple.
And each
2
one
wives.
has and
each one has a partner.
Gotcha.
I sleep with one wife. The other wife sleeps with her other partner.
Okay.
Some people think when I say like poly that we're all dating one another and we're all no.
Okay.
No.
Thank you for clarifying that and teaching the people. Teach them.
Yes.
I mean, in this dynamic, because sometimes maybe there is poly relationships where multiple people are sleeping, but just because you're having sex with somebody doesn't mean that you have a whole relationship with them.
I understand. Yeah.
So
we did do an episode on that, and there's so many different variations of that. So we'll revisit that because this is interesting. So, but I want to thank you guys for coming in and sharing your experiences, your viewpoints.
Thank you for having me.
And hopefully, whoever's out there who's listening, they can get some type of understanding, and if you guys have answered some of their questions. So
yeah, for sure.
Definitely for me.
And I would love to do even a part 2 on what we just had, because I have some questions that I have had serious debates that have caused arguments between couples at gay parties, and love to hear with what you guys have to, what Shay and Kelly have to say, or anybody else who joins us have to say on those questions as well.
Okay, so we can have a part 2 because I have a whole bunch of questions that were left unanswered, and I'm sure you have some questions as well. So, but thank you guys for coming in.
Welcome.
Your wealth of information. So for those listening out there, please stay on, because I have a song called, I forgot the name of the song.
Oh my God.
Tell Your Story.
Yeah.
The song is called Tell Your Story, and it's kind of related to this particular topic, but listen and let us know how you like the song, and give me some feedback. But for those, you can catch this podcast topic on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, wherever your favorite streaming platforms, or you can go to www.houseofotem, that's OTEM.com, or hottopicspodcast.com. That's TOPIX. So thank you for coming. Oh, the word of the day. Sorry. Word of the day is going to be rainbow. And reason why we have word of the day for each episode that we do during that month. If you give us the words of the day for each episode and you email it to us at hot topics, that's TOPIX podcast at gmail.com. The first one that gets all the words, you'll win a prize. So, yeah, we got some good ones too.
All right.
But, thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Okay, ladies.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
I don't know what you've been through. I know there's a story to tell. I've heard some of the stories on deaf ears, they too often fell. Tell your story. There's something that some of us miss. Tell your story. Ignorance isn't always bliss. Tell your story. Yes, we all have to live here too. Tell your story. Yes, old stories are sometimes new. Tell your story. Have you always felt different, living in darkness and left out? Did you feel shame in childhood, forced to live a life of self-doubt? Tell your story. There's something that some of us miss. Tell your story. Ignorance isn't always bliss. Tell your story. Yes, we all have to live here too. Tell your story. Yes, old stories are sometimes new. Tell your story. Some lives can be broken, some lives can be rebuilt. We should all just listen so lives can be fulfilled. Tell your story. There's something that some of us miss. Tell your story. Ignorance isn't always bliss. Tell your story. Yes, we all have to live here too. Yes, old stories are sometimes new. Tell your story. I heard you want equal rights. I'm not sure I know what that means. I don't know why all the fuss. It's so simple to give, it seems. Tell your story. Tell your story. There's something that some of us miss. Tell your story. Tell your story. Ignorance isn't always bliss. Tell your story. Yes, we all have to live here too. Tell your story. Yes, old stories are sometimes